Now that it's the spooky season and Halloween is finally upon us, I thought it would be cool to make a Mario video based on this theme, looking more into the horror aspects that pop up around the franchise. These moments usually appear in the form of ghost houses, where in today's video, I want to look at the absolute best ones from across the series, showing off exactly what makes these boot-filled areas so great. Before we get started with this video, my name is Copycat, and if you haven't yet then please subscribe to my channel, hitting that bell button to stay notified when I upload new videos. To start things off, we actually have to jump right to Super Mario Bros. 3, as the first two games don't contain any ghost-filled levels, so we can just skip those. Where this one has two stages I want to look at, starting with World 3, Fortress 2. Here you'll come across a series of underwater-based rooms that all contain the wacky stretch enemies, which are platforms that have boos living within them, where from time to time the ghosts will pop up, moving back and forth trying to damage you. Unfortunately, this is a short experience, but its differentness is always what ended up making it tons of fun. The only other level I want to mention is World 6's second fortress, which is completely full of ice blocks, making the floors really slippery to platform on. On top of this, you also have to dodge the thwomps and boos placed in annoying spots throughout the fortress, so if you aren't prepared to exercise patience, you'll definitely die. Skipping ahead now to Super Mario World for the SNES, a game that really solidified ghost houses as a staple of the series. There of course are a few levels from this entry I want to look at, starting with the sunken ghost ship. Found just before the entrance to the Valley of the Bowser, this stage is set on a haunted ship that's become overrun with water, containing rooms full of boos that disappear and reappear, dealing you damage if you come in contact with their tangible versions. Although unforgiving at times, this is still a lot of fun to try and navigate through, and the second part of the stage where you fall down an incredibly long dark pit is an exhilarating experience, as dodging the several Koopas while trying to get all the collectibles really makes this memorable. Another level that's definitely worth mentioning is the Donut Secret Ghost House, as it has a maze-like door mechanic that leads to an amazing boss battle against the Big Boo. I love how Nintendo really establishes these great levels in this title, as they really set the groundwork for what we'll see later in the series. Up next, we're going to look at the second handheld game in the franchise, Super Mario Land 2 for the Game Boy, where without a doubt the best Ghost Lace levels from it are found within the Pumpkin Zone. In this area's first level, you'll come across the terrifying masked ghoul, which uncannily looks like Jason from the Friday the 13th films, and you'll also find the Kiro Kyura vampire-like foe that sends out endless bats that try and deal damage to you. In the second level, you'll find a mixture of above ground and underwater elements, where you have to dodge the thirsty-looking barrow barrels and the weird one-eyed Kiroro creatures until you reach one of the two exits. The third and fourth levels are way more like traditional ghost houses, where you need to platform around a series of boos until you eventually make your way to the witch boss battle at the zone's end. I like how Nintendo stuck with the spooky theme throughout the entirety of this world, which isn't something they try to do often, as these types of levels are usually found scattered throughout the entries, and not in one spot. The first 3D game in the series is Super Mario 64 for the N64, which has an entire course that's literally a ghost house in Big Boo's haunt. This area is actually very interesting as it isn't found through a painting, and instead is entered through a small cage hidden within one of the boos in the castle's courtyard. In this dark and gloomy level, you'll encounter enemies like the Mad Piano, floating bookends and chairs, Mr. Eyes, and of course boos, where you'll eventually get to face off against the Big Boo boss a few times in order to gain a couple of stars. This is definitely a major highlight of this particular game, at least for me, as I have noticed some people in the comments say they don't like it, but those are just haters. In Super Mario Sunshine that was released for the GameCube in 2002, there was only one level that had any ghost-themed things in it at all, in Serena Beach. Within this course, you'll find the Hotel Delfino, which during certain episodes has been overrun by countless boos, some of which want to do nothing but attack you, and some of which that are fast asleep, acting more like a blockade than anything else. However, the best moment in Serena Beach takes place during the 5th episode, where you need to battle the King Boo boss on the giant roulette table in the casino's basement. Here you have to force the Boo to eat the spicy pepper, which causes it to go wild. Then you need to throw any other piece of fruit at it to deal damage, eventually defeating this crazy foe this way. Nintendo will return the series to its 2D roots with new Super Mario Bros. For the DS, and with it a plethora of ghost houses, where one of the best is found in World 4. Here you'll come across the absolutely hilarious Balloon Boos, who expel air when avoided, which causes them to shrink, but inhale air when looked at, which causes them to grow to massive sizes. This stage also has many secret areas and even a hidden exit that leads to a warp cannon, so there's a lot of fun and replayability to be had. Another great level I feel like needs to be mentioned is the World 5 Ghost House, which is home to another strange fantastic enemy, the Bruiser. These are some of the most formidable foes in the entire series, as they're equipped with boxing gloves due to their hard punches, being able to blast through otherwise unbreakable bricks, meaning you definitely don't want to be on the receiving end of their haymaker. I also really love the lift portions of this level where you can find a few hidden areas with star coins, so there are aspects other than the appearance of the Bruiser that make it great. The final one from this game I want to showcase is the Ghost House from World 7, mainly because of its maze-like layout where you encounter rooms that all have different sorts of obstacles and challenges. Here you'll also find the Phantom Hands that remind me a lot of the Master Hand from Super Smash Bros., which actually aid you in pointing out certain secrets throughout the stage, which is weird, but at least helpful. Up next, we're going to look at Super Mario Galaxy for the Wii, which only has one level that fits within this theme in the Ghostly Galaxy. This is where you first come across Luigi in the game, who's been held captive in the Haunted Mansion. Pretty fitting, of course. Who can only be rescued if you power up with a Boo Mushroom, which allows you to phase through certain walls. This is a huge highlight in this level, as it's a very unexpected moment, but one that works very well in this theme. Other notable things in the stage include the Boo race through the pole stars against the spooky speedster, the darkness room that you must navigate through as parts of the mansion appear and crumble in thin air, and of course the battle against the Bouldergeist, where you have to use the bomb boost to defeat it. This is probably the most in-depth and grand ghost house in the entire franchise, but I do hope that something in the second Super Mario Odyssey can blow this out of the water. The second game in the new Super Mario Bros. Sub-series came out for the Wii in 2009, and has a couple of ghost houses I want to look at, starting with the one from World 5. This is another pick the right door kind of level, but this time with a bit of a twist, as it's completely dark in this stage with the only light source coming from the light blocks, which you can actually carry around to see in the darkness. Through each door, you'll find a variety of different types of rooms, including one with underwater elements, a few large gaps where you can fall into a void, and obviously a secret exit like we've seen from most of these 2D levels. The other from this game I feel like's worth mentioning is the World 7 Ghost House, which is a very vertical platforming oriented level, and that's taken to the extreme during one section of the course where you need to fall down a gigantic void. The ghost houses from this particular entry aren't the strongest in the entire series, but I do always still enjoy playing them when I come across them. Super Mario Galaxy 2 for the Wii has two ghostly themed levels in the game, with the first being the Haunty Halls Galaxy, which is essentially one long hallway that's split into different sections. Here you'll have to guide Mario along a disappearing path, an invisible platforming section that can only be revealed by the Bulb Yoshi, and through a long walkway that's being eaten away by the Mattermouse, with a power star at its end. The Boo Moon Galaxy is the other spooky stage from this game that's really good, as it contains one of my favorite parts in the game in the Snake Block section. I just love how you have to deal with the gravity changes that really mess with your perspective, which at first seems frustrating, but once you get a hang of it, it turns out to be really fun. In my opinion, the best ghost house level in Super Mario 3D Land is World 8-4, as it's a perfect culmination of every type of that stage that came before it in this title. This actually is a somewhat tough level, as there's a lot of enemies that can deal damage to you, and a few platforming sections that can give you problems, especially when you're on the switchboard. The final entry of the new Super Mario Bros. Sub-series came out for the Wii U in 2012, which has one ghost house level I considered great in the spinning platforms of Doom. This is one of the extra special levels found on Superstar Road, and takes place over top a poison swamp where you have to jump through a series of rotating, moving platforms, avoiding mini boos. I love the art style of the stage's background, as it's very reminiscent of a Vincent van Gogh painting, and the fact that it moves alongside you really gives it character, bringing it to life. In the new Super Luigi U game mode, there's two cool levels I want to look at, starting with one that's very similar to the new Super Mario Bros. U stage we just looked at, called Under Construction, otherwise known as Superstar Road 5. Set in the same painted style of landscape, this level appears to have no platforms at first, but that's just an illusion, as once you get near, they will materialize in front of your eyes, revealing which path you have to take. I know it's not exactly a spook-filled stage, but it feels like it still fits the theme and there are boos. The only other level from this game that's worth mentioning is the Vanishing Ghost House, which features you having to dodge attacks from the disguised Obake blocks, all while ensuring you don't fall into the void below. Of course, finding the power-ups and stars makes things considerably easier, but I still really enjoyed the funness of the stage. The final game we're going to look at in this video, as it's the last to contain any ghost houses, is Super Mario 3D World, which has two specific good ones I want to look at, starting with Beam in the Dark. This one takes place in a very dark mansion, so you need to use the light box item which illuminates the area you're looking towards. This light source is also the only way you can defeat ghosts that you encounter, as without this tool, this is a rough experience through some very tough platforming sections. The other level from this entry that I absolutely love is Peepa's Fog Bog, which combines ghost and snow elements that creates a very unique stage. There's a section where you have to find the key coins to unlock the warp box, a section where you have to ride a raft down the poisonous river, and finally a section where you have to navigate through thick fog, making sure you don't fall off into the void below. It's interesting the game even classifies this as a ghost house, as it's completely set outside, but that doesn't make things less interesting. Alright, that's gonna be it for today's video, guys. I really hope you did enjoy this one. If you did, please leave a like, comment below what you thought about it, and of course subscribe to my channel. Also, please go follow my Instagram at Copycat Gamer. There I upload some cool clips and items from my collection that you won't see anywhere else. Hope you guys all have a good day, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye!